10th of July 2018. Members of the public gallery should note that the Council records and publishes Council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of Council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on Council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate time during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the Council, at which time their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the Council meeting but who wish to communicate with Council via the webcast and chat room should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure that their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please could gallery visitors and councillors ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in the silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Please stand for the acknowledgement and prayer. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gunai-Kurnai people, and pay respects to their elders past and present. Almighty God, we ask your blessing upon the Wellington Shire Council, its councillors, officers, staff and their families. We pray for your guidance in our decisions so that the true good of the Wellington Shire Council may result to the benefit of all residents and community groups. Anyway. Item A2, there are no apologies. Item A3, declaration of conflict of interest. Councillor McCubbin.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I have a I have an indirect interest due to conflict of duty, section 78B in item 5.2 of tonight's agenda. My apologies for trouble in getting that out.
Thank you. So noted. No other conflicts? Moving on to item A4, confirmation of minutes of previous council meeting. Councillor Stephens.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to move that Council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the ordinary council meeting of the 3rd of July 2018.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Marr, is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. Carried. You right, Councillor Stephens? Yeah. Thank you. Item A5, business arising from the previous meeting, which we do not have any. Item A6, there's no acceptance of late items. Item A7, likewise, no notice of motion. And item A8, receiving of joint letters or petitions, and none there. No outstanding. Item A10, no questions on notice. Item A11, the Mayor's report, the Mayor and Councillors' activity report. Councillor Stephens.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to move that the Mayor and Councillor activity report be noted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Bye, is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed, the motion is carried.
Yes, just a brief comment, Mayor. It's interesting when you read through the Mayor and Councillor activity report to see the diverse range of community groups, and we chaired a couple of triennial meetings of two DWELP committees of management in the last month, and both the Alberton Hall and Recreation Committee and the Tarraville Recreation Reserve. So we get asked to do a range of things, and I think it just serves to show how many different activities and discussions that councillors and you get involved with. I said that already. I'm repeating myself. I'll sit down now. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stephens. Councillor McCubbin.
Thank you very much, Mayor. If I may just elaborate on one of the items that were in that report, Council activity report, if I may. No, actually, I might mention it a little bit later on when we come to the Council's activities report then, actually.
Well, we're having a day today. I actually skipped over item A9 in error, so I do believe we have an item for invited addresses, presentations and acknowledgements, Councillor Hall.
The water level, but they did participate in a lot of races around Victoria. As we know, The Maggie Gold Cup is usually run on the Melbourne Cup long weekend because that's the best chance of having water there that's safe enough to do their boats. And last year in excess of 3,000 people were there on the day. The sad part about it is we can't block the road off leading to it. There's probably another 3,000 sitting out there watching the races for no charge. And that causes the public a lot of disappointment because it is a public road and so the access can't be closed off. But they appreciate the Wellington Shire because we've been 9 or 10 years now supporting this as a part of the tourism trail that we have of bringing people in. And in their world, the boats came from South Australia and New South Wales, and a lot of them camped in the district for just over a week. So they did bring a significant amount of financial income, and that we appreciated. So, Madam Mayor, on their behalf, I'd like to present you with this.
The moment. This is the moment. Thank you very much, Mayor. I'd like to acknowledge that I went to the RSL Community Sub-Branch service held to mark the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Hamel, which occurred actually just recently, and I think it's very important that the Council acknowledge the service of the men and women who have fought for this country, and indeed those that gave their lives in regard to the Battle of Hamel. I'd like to mention two local men, Corporal George Oliver, a butcher from Sale, who died on the 4th of July 1918, aged just 27, and Private Henry Winter, who was a boy, attended the Stradbroke School, who died also on 8th of July 1918, both at the Battle of Hamel. I think it's really important the Council acknowledge the anniversary of these significant events during the Great War and, of course, the sacrifice of our people in regard to that service. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cameron. I know it means a lot to the RSL clubs as well.
Yes, no, the RSL is fantastic. They do that.
Now we're back on track. Item B, Report of Delegates. No reports, I believe. Item C1, the Chief Executive Officer's report. Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I move that the Chief Executive Officer's report be received.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Byer, is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed, the motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Once again, this report sets out some of the things that our CEO gets up to, including a series of community consultation meetings at Lock Sport involving the CEO, the Mayor, Councillor Ripper, Councillor Mark, Councillor Stevens and myself, and that was a meeting with the community at the Men's Shed, Lock Sport RSL and the Community House, and it was a great opportunity to engage with community interaction and feedback. It's just one of the items on that extensive list. Further, I was pleased to attend with the CEO and the proponents of the Nunduk development to discuss some planning issues. And the report sets out in detail the extent of the activities that the CEO continues to engage in.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Item C2.1, Assembly of Councillors. Councillor Bye.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I move the Council note to receive the attached Assembly of Council records for the period 26th of June 2018 to the 10th of July 2018.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hall, is that motion opposed? Motion not opposed, the motion is carried. You're all good, thank you. Item C3, item C3.1, the May 2018 planning decisions. Councillor Marr.
I move that Council note the report on recent planning permit trends and planning application determinations between the 1st of May and 31st of May 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Marr.
Just quickly, this is for the month of May. The planning approvals that have passed the desks of our planning department, who have been working hard once again, and certainly ticking a lot of boxes with regard to how quickly they're getting the permits and decisions through. And if you can actually, if you look at the report of each individual property, it actually outlines the date received as well as the date that it was approved, and I can assure you that there are a lot of quick turnarounds, so it's a really great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item C 3.2, Quarterly Strategic Land Use Planning. Councillor Marr.
I move that Council receive the 2018 second quarterly update on the Strategic Land Use Planning Work Program included in Attachment 1 to this report.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bai. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Marr.
I'll run through Attachment 1. There is an outline of the current strategic land use planning projects, which I will run through just briefly. Starting with the North Sale Development Plan, that was actually formally adopted at Council on the 17th of April 2018. It will facilitate the coordinated and integrated growth of the 294 hectares of land to the north of Sale, which is a really important development. Detailed work has commenced on the preparation of the associated developer contributions mechanism that will seek to apportion costs across the infrastructure with the developable land within that growth area. The West Sale and Warwick Industrial Land Strategy Supply Strategy has also been exhibited publicly between the 11th of December and 26th of January 2018. There were a total of 10 submissions that were received, and they were considered at the 19th of June 2018 meeting. The Wellington Land Use and Development Strategy, otherwise known as LUDS, is an overarching framework to coordinate future land use and development within the Shire. There's background research currently being done, which is being held in abeyance pending progress and delivery of the state government's planning in the economic growth zone and smart planning projects. And that's a really worthwhile project. Planning in the economic growth zone, otherwise known as PEGS, was established in November of 2016 as part of the $226 million package to help boost the local economy of the Latrobe Valley following a downturn economically. This encompasses Wellington Shire, Latrobe City and Baw. And the PEGS project is aiming to support economic development through a simpler, more consistent, less cumbersome planning system across the Shire. It's also important to note that it's a policy-neutral review of the Wellington planning scheme, and it will enable the things to be formally exhibited. Oh, hang on, sorry. It will actually deal with matters which will be able to be supported by the Minister for Planning without the need to formally exhibit a planning scheme amendment. And this is something that the Wellington Shire certainly welcomes, especially when the planning team are being supported by the economic growth development. Council, the updated C99 flood mapping is anticipated for completion 2018 to early 2019. This is occurring in consultation with the Western East Gippsland Catchment Management Authority. They're undertaking a background work to update flood overlay controls in flood-prone areas of the municipality to better reflect the best available flood information. This is subject to formal council consideration and ministerial authorisation being granted. There will be a tentative public exhibition late 2018, early 2019, and that will certainly be something that we'll look forward to seeing advertised. The West Sale industrial land is another planning scheme amendment that work has now commenced on the preparation of the planning scheme amendment documentation to support the rezoning of land immediately adjacent to the West Sale Airport from the farm zoning to the Industrial 1 zone. Then we have some private planning scheme amendments. C94 is the rezoning of the former Sale Police site that a formal notice has been approved upon request to rezone from the public use zone to the residential growth zone to facilitate sale of the former police site, as well as it being surplus to the department's needs. However, the state government is continuing to seek to resolve the issue of the formal native title on site, which is currently preventing the sale of the land for development purposes. And I'm sure that everyone can agree with me that this is certainly a significant site of land located at our Shire entry point in Sale. It's imperative that the issues of native title be resolved, and I'm sure that the planning department would agree with me in agreeing that they look forward to further conversations with Glawak on that matter. The Princess Highway rezoning, Amendment C101 is being prepared by Vic Roads and will facilitate the rezoning of land that is now part of the newly duplicated Princess Highway. The amendment also removes the public acquisition overlay that currently exists on it. Then we're at removal of the SRO from land at Gormandale Fauna Reserve. This is, I think, really good news for the Gormandale area. An amendment has been prepared by the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning. The land is 32 hectares in area and it's Crown land. And the Minister for Planning has agreed to a request from the Resource Minister to remove the state resource overlay from the Gormandale Flora Reserve. And this is based on the fact that the coal resource for the subject land is of little value and won't be used for coal-related activities. So I really think that that's a win-win for the Gormandale township, and we'd certainly look forward to seeing what they think about that matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Moving on to item, gotta go again, 3.3, Economic Development Strategic Action Plan Progress Report.
Again, I move that Council note the Economic Development Strategy Action Plan 2016-2018 Progress Report and adopt the proposed 2018-2020 Economic Development Action Plan.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stevens, is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Marr, do you need a drink?
No, I might actually. In 2016, the Wellington Shire Council adopted the Economic Development Strategy 2016 to 2022 with themes focused on economic diversity, amenity, infrastructure, skills and education, branding, marketing and governance. The 2016-2018 Progress Report is found in Attachment 1. And this outlines 45 actions that were developed after community consultation in 2015. The action plan proposed of 2018 to 2020 is found at Attachment 2. This contains carryover actions from the 2016-2018 plan, as well as focusing on opportunities in today's climate. These plans form the basis for the economic development team, their work focus, and I think everyone could agree what an effective job that they have done so far, as it certainly highlights the advocacy the Wellington Shire Council is undertaking on behalf of its businesses, community and ourselves. And it's definitely a worthwhile document to read, and outlines a lot of the work that they have undertaken. And a special, I think a special commendation to John Webstale and his team, headed by Paul Johnson, should be given, because they've done a really awesome job. So thank you.
Thank you. And just if I can reiterate on that, the Small Business Commissioner at a Sale Business Forum last night certainly said that the economic development team were to be recommended, and also specifically in adopting the LVAs and business sectors areas of promoting to get local business engaged in major projects throughout the Shire, and Wellington Shire was pointed out as the earliest adopter of this process, and also the support of businesses in accessing various state and federal government grants, and the success of those grants have been optimised with the work of the team, so congratulations. Thank you. Item, where are we up? C3.4, building permits. You get a rest. Councillor By.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. The Council note, I'd like to move that the Council note the report of building permits issued from the 1st of January 2018 to the 31st of March 2018.
Thank you. Second, Councillor McCubbin. Is that motion opposed? Motion's not opposed. Carried. Councillor By.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Back in July to September 17, we issued permits with total amount of building of 26 million, nearly 27 million. Councillor McCubbin did a report October to December 17. I was quite excited because we'd hit 29 million in new work. Wow, what a quarter we've just had. $41,646,896 of new work permitted in the Shire. What an amazing result.
That's amazing.
Oh, fantastic. I'd like to pass on to the team for issuing those permits with that amount of work was great. A few things I'll just point out. One thing that stands out, in Toongabbie we had $4.47 million two permits. One of those was a broiler farm. So there was a broiler farm of just over $4 million that was issued a permit, which is great. It brings employment to the Shire. Another thing I'd point out is we went through a period of time when Ashford had uncertainty in Hayfield, where they probably had 6 months of next to no activity at all. It's good to see that if you take out Toongabbie with their once-off broiler project, Hayfield actually finished behind Sale, of course, but just behind Mafra in third spot in actually work happening in the town. So over the last 3 quarters, they've actually built up more and more, and they're starting to see a lot of activity, and the confidence is now back in the town. But what a great result, 41 million. Amazing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that enthusiasm. It's all positive. Item C, 4, General Manager Built Natural Environment. We have no reports there. Item C5, General Manager Community and Culture, C5.1, Bryogalong Quarry Reserve. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council appoint the nominated community representatives as detailed in the attached confidential report to the Bryogalong Quarry Reserve Committee of Management for the remainder of the 3-year period ending on the 18th of December 2018. I would like to take paragraph 2 as read.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you again, Mayor. I'd just like to say that the Quarry Reserve is an excellent area for people to go and camp, and also I'd like to thank the nominee for applying to be on the committee, and it's really good to see that people who live outside of Bryogalong are happy to come and make sure that that reserve continues to be used and useful to all campers of all monetary people with less money to go to other areas, it is a fantastic place, and these people are really, really compassionate about that, and they keep it in good order. Thank you.
Thank you, and the successful nominee will be notified after this meeting. Moving on to item C5.2, quick response grants that you need
Thank you.
to
Yes, I'd just
declare.
like to declare before we move on to that
Yes.
an indirect interest in this regard. It's due to a conflict of duty. That's under section 78B of the Act. It's to do with the fact that I'm the Treasurer of Gippsland Regional Arts in Sale. I shall now...
So noted. It's all right. You might need to go. Okay. So, do we have a mover for
Yes, thank you,
that?
Mayor. I'm happy
Thank
to
you,
move.
Councillor Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to move that Council note the information regarding applications received under the Quick Response Grant Scheme for the period March 2018 to June 2018 as at Attachment A.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Well, Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? Motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Stevens.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. The Quick Response Grant Scheme is a very important part of our interaction with the community, and I think it's always well received in our community. I note that obviously community organisations can apply for up to $2,000, I think on a 3-for-1 basis as part of this scheme, and also, even more importantly, that individuals can apply for an amount of $500 under this scheme. I see we had 16 applications in the quarter, and that in fact 15 applications were approved by our, I suppose, appraisal committee, for want of a better term, and that the amount of $21,603.81 was in fact given out in grants. And so that's a wonderful thing for the community, and I think it gives community grants some opportunity to apply for a grant for a whole range of things. If you look at the 15 different applications that was successful, there's a whole range of activities, events, projects, facilities that have been given money, and they will all use that funds wisely to benefit their local community. So it's great that we have this program, and of course the other good thing about the Quick Response Grant is it's named Quick because people can apply and get an answer usually within about 2 to 3 weeks of how they're going to go. So I commend that scheme. It's ongoing. Of course, it's a separate scheme to our community grant scheme where organisations can apply for up to $5,000 twice a year. And of course, the next round of that community grant scheme I think closes on about the 1st of August. But in the interim, this scheme is a wonderful scheme, and yes, I think it's very beneficial to our community. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. We might invite
Chris, you know the council improvement.
We'll note your return. Thank you. No. Moving to item C5.3, the Bryogalong Rec Reserve minutes. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council receive the minutes from the Bryogalong Recreation Reserve Committee of Management's general meeting held on the 11th of June 2018.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Marr, is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to make note that the upgrade of the pavilion is moving closer to starting, or not actually, I would say starting, but starting the process. So the process is getting closer to the end, which we'll all look forward to, is the upgrade of the pavilion. Now, part of the upgrade, of course, it takes people working for the future of Bryaglong and District, and that is volunteers. And the volunteers are mainly mothers and fathers with children who are playing either cricket, tennis, junior football, pony club, and also the community. And I've noted over a period of time I've been involved, which is only a short period, the enthusiasm and the dedication that these mothers and fathers and others are putting in towards making sure that they're working for the good of the Bryag, and keeping in mind that the council is also helping Latrobe Valley Authority. So it's really good to note that this facility now and in the future will be in good hands. Thank you.
It's also one of the prettiest grounds in the Shire as well. Moving on to item C5.4, Gippsland Art Gallery Advisory Group. Councillor Rossetti.
Thanks, Mayor. I move the Council receive the minutes of the Gippsland Art Gallery Advisory Group meeting held on 4th of June 2018.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stevens. Is that motion opposed? The motion's not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Rossetti.
Just a quick word, Mayor. It's good to see the new committee has settled in really well and really getting their legs under the table. But I do commend even just the minutes of this group to people in the community interested in the arts. The arts, as has been said by many people. In particular, there's less better than it was indeed. But there's they're actually looking at a cracker piece of artwork. Hopefully, we can get hold of it through the generosity of the John Leslie Foundation. The Early Morning Star at Gippsland, Victoria, by Jan Hendrik Scheltima. Have a look at it on the internet. It's a great piece. It really, I'm sure that anyone who's grown up as a kid in our area and been out on mates' farms or been brought up on a farm, just look at it and it just feels like it's exactly where it should be to be in our collection. So I really commend the work being done in the gallery to preserve those sorts of our local pieces of art that represent our local communities, but also the volunteers who come onto this committee to really help guide it and make sure they're on the right track. But do look up that piece. Thanks, Mayor.
And certainly the new building is still, the new gallery is still encouraging consistently great numbers through the doors, and repeat visits has just been a fantastic outcome. Item C5.5, Cameron Sporting Complex Committee of Management. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to move the Council receive the minutes from the Cameron Sporting Complex Committee of Management's general meeting held on the 17th of May 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Hall. Is that motion opposed? The motion not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, a couple of things. First off, the committee has decided to meet every second month now instead of monthly. The meetings have monthly were running for about 45 minutes, so they've decided they would transfer that to every second month and on the even month. But tonight there's a little bit of despondency in the town of Maffra. I think I've heard today that the grant that we were hoping to receive from the Building Better Regions funding was not forthcoming. They were living in anticipation of that expansion and the basketball course becoming compliant. But all's not lost at this stage. There is other funding there that we will certainly try, and the presentation and that our officers put together to prove that it was a worthwhile project was second to none. It was absolutely magic, and it's disappointing that somebody who makes the decisions in Canberra decided that our application needed to take a back step. And it's interesting when you look at some of the other funding proposals of Glen Willow Regional Sports Complex Stage 2 was given $6.95 million for their project. The Inverell high school upgrade, $2.5 million. A golf club in New South Wales got money to replace their old clubhouse. And as we know, the flavour of the month is obviously mountain bike riding, because in Victoria we're lucky that Borbor and East Gippsland both receive significant funds. And if that's the flavour of the month, Madam Mayor, I suggest we look at the historical trail of the Hayfield of Wonnangata, where the mountain cattle used to walk for many, many years. And we have to hurry because there's not too many mountains left for mountain bike riding. And I'd like to suggest that maybe along the line, if they're throwing this money around to have these put together, particularly for tourism, such a trail would be great for Latola and also for Dargo. And we'll look forward to the future hard work of our officers as they go seeking that funding that we need. And through these meetings, we'll keep everybody updated and informed.
Thank you. Don't forget Blaw's Hill, just out of Hayfield. That's a fairly good
Yeah.
mountain bike.
Yeah, it's only got a little mountain.
Thank you for that report. Item C 5.6, the Newry Rec Reserve. Thank you, Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the Council receive the minutes from the Newry Recreation Reserve Committee of Management annual and general meetings held on the 18th of June 2018.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Councillor Hall.
Thank you. Everybody is obviously very happy with the management out there. At the committee that's been running the meetings for some time, for some years, we all returned unopposed and accepted the positions with a great amount of joy and jubilation, I'm sure. But it was interesting to have a look at the composition. We call it the Newry Recreation Reserve Committee, and it comprises the Fire Brigade, the Golf Club, the Junior Football, the Upper Maffra Mechanics Hall, and also the Football Club. So it's a broad and diverse section of the community that they meet every quarter, and everybody has the good intentions that's to make Newry great again. But they work together. And right now, we're probably well aware, the golf club, whose clubhouse is in a state of age, has spoke to the football club about using their facilities as their clubhouse, and it looks like that is going to happen. The interesting thing is the general debate out there at the moment is that the Upper Maffra Mechanics Institute, which we all know as the Newry Hall, is now being looked at as to what name it'll be officially titled. So we'll look forward to the Place Names Committee getting probably an application to change that.
Yeah, I think we can have that debate at the committee. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Item D, do we have no urgent business? Item E, any chat room?
None, Mayor.
None there. Any comments required from the gallery? No, thank you. We do have to go into closed session. So if I ask the gallery and the media to depart, that would, thank you. And I'll call upon Councillor Rossetti.
Just got to rush back and stop the front page.
Yes.
Building permits at 45 or whatever it is.
Cracking out pieces. I move that the meeting be closed to public pursuant to Section 892 of Local Government Act 1989 to consider personal matters.
Thank you. Councillor Stevens, seconded. Is that motion opposed? The motion is not opposed. The motion is carried. Thank you.